Hi, hi, hi. Chris from Divine Key with your Wednesday workout. Welcome, welcome. Hi, everybody. This is Chris from Divine Key. Just checking, make sure everything's set up and ready to go for our Wednesday workout. Welcome, everybody. Um, if you're new here, welcome to my channel. Heads up, hopefully, I'll be streaming from YouTube next week as opposed to Facebook. So if you haven't yet, go on over to YouTube and subscribe to my Divine Key channel over there. Um, Facebook does some weird stuff, so I wanted to try YouTube and see if it's a cleaner feed. And hopefully, we'll see. So we have a couple minutes. I just thought I'd start up early, check and make sure everything's working properly. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I still haven't figured out the comments on Facebook, so if you comment and I don't respond, sorry, I'll catch you on the replay. Hashtag replay. So for today's Wednesday workout, you will need a couple tools, and I should have posted it sooner, but I didn't. So if you're joining me early, you can go ahead and pick up these tools. So you can do it with me right now, or actually today's workout's probably best done on the hashtag replay. So what you're going to need is something to write on, something to write with, and some kind of divination tool, whether it be tools, tarot, oracle, runes, those are my favorites. A book even would work. Um, Pretty much anything that you can glean information from intuitively. So if you want to go get those, if not, you can just follow along, see what it's about today, and then come back and rewatch the video and actually do the exercise. So we're at the 10 o'clock hour, which is when I usually start these. So I'm going to dive right in because I hate a whole bunch of lead in. Again, hi, Chris from Divine Key, spelled QI, with your Wednesday workout at the Divine Key Spiritual Gym. And today's workout is about breakthroughs. So we're going to do the key to spiritual breakthroughs. So I decided that today's Wednesday workout would be around the key technique that I use with my breakthrough coaching clients. When my clients feel stuck, overwhelmed, unable to move forward, sometimes there's fear. There's fear of choosing the wrong thing, fear of not knowing what the next thing is. All those things create a block within us. So this exercise often will help you break through those blocks, and it can be done, as many times as you need. I will suggest that if you're going to use this technique, to pick one thing that you're working on. Coaching is not an all around thing. Usually, it's focused on one thing to make movement forward. So, just a heads up. So, if you have something to write on, something to write with, and some kind of divination tool or intuitive tool that you work with, it can be a bowl of crystals, it can be a tarot deck, runes, oracle decks, it can be a book that you can open and read from. Any of those things will work. So let's get going. So typically, when we have a block and we're stuck and unable to move forward, what is going on is we're overwhelmed. We're up in our head, we're thinking a lot, and we're struggling with trying to understand what might be a good step forward. So I like this multi-step process that I go through. I call it my one card breakthrough process because I use tarot, or rune, so that's what this is based around. So what you do is and you need a timer of some type. Most people have phones, that works fine. But what you do is you set a timer for 7 minutes. And what you're going to do is you're just going to get everything out of your head. So the purpose behind this is not to be creative necessarily, or not to create something that anyone else is going to read. No other eyes have to see this. The idea behind this is to get all the information out onto paper. You can even shred it when we're done. Like, there's no need to do anything with it. the purpose is just to empty our mind so that we leave space to allow the information for the breakthrough to come through. If you haven't seen it before, go back and watch my video on space and allowing space, and you'll have a deeper understanding what I mean by that. So I'm not going to actually set a timer for 7 minutes because this is only a 10-minute video usually, or 15 minutes. So I will, you can pause the video if you're watching replay. For you people watching live, hey, I will give you a minute to get the information out of your head. Write it on paper. So go ahead, and I was just checking to see what the time is. So go ahead and start just writing out. It can just be even just words. It doesn't have to be sentences. We're clearing our mind by putting it down on paper. So just write whatever comes to mind, even if it doesn't make any sense at all, and even if it isn't actually a word. Like, just keep writing for the full 7 minutes to fully unload your mind. I'm going to set a timer for 1 minute, and we'll let that go for this process. So go ahead and start writing, and I will let you know when a minute it's up. I was going to use my phone, but I'll just use the Facebook timer. So go ahead and write. Just write. And you can write, it doesn't have to be, like, it can be a fancy leather journal like I carry here that I use for myself, but it doesn't have to be that. It can just be a sheet of paper and a crayon even. Whatever you have will work. This doesn't have to be complicated. So let's simplify. Okay, so I'm going to be quiet for a minute. And just allow the words to flow. Like, don't even think. Just get it out. Get it out on paper. Okay, so that's been about a minute. I talked during most of it. So you definitely want to do it on replay where you can pause it and have silence to get your mind on paper. So you can do whatever you want with that piece of paper. It doesn't matter. Set it aside. The next step is to get your divination tool. Today I chose the Chrysalis Tarot, which looks like that. And I chose it because that's the packaging that I have. And this is what the deck looks like. I chose the Chrysalis Tarot because it feels very summery to me. And it's based around the Rider-Waite-Smith traditional deck. So it's familiar but different. So I love decks like that because they have that structure that I'm familiar with, but they allow me to think in different ways because the imagery is so different. So whatever tool you use is fine. I also have, for example, just to show you. So I have this this bowl of crystals. It's really hard to see. There you go. So you could just reach in and pull a crystal, a tray of crystals, because each thing will give you a different message. So anything works, actually. Or if you have a book, you can just choose a book. Let me see here. So this is kind of a fun book. It's actually a book about tarot, but it doesn't matter because what you're going to do is you're going to randomly choose something. So you're going to randomly choose a crystal. First, you're going to ask the question, what's my next step? So we've emptied our mind, we put it on paper, we put it aside. We have space now to receive the message. So you're going to ask, what's my next step? And then you're going to randomly pull a card or just open the book randomly and see what phrase jumps out at you. So I'm going to pull a card. And this is really great because this one card will work for everybody. It will work. The message will be unique for each person because we are all different. And we're going to receive the message differently. So even though it's the same image, for everybody who's watching this video, you're going to receive your personal message. And you have to trust in that. You have to trust that this tool is going to provide you your personal message. So I'm going to pull a card. This one. Okay. So this is the card I got, Four of Mirrors. If you can see that whole thing, if I quit moving around. So this is the card, Four of Mirrors. You can pause this. You can screenshot it if you want. If you want to use this card as your breakthrough card, but start receiving the message. What's the very first feeling it evokes in you? And I like to write this down because I want it to flow and I don't want to have to think about it. So I write it down. You can flip the paper over from when you did your mind meld and just write the words that come to mind. What color jumps out at you? What's the feeling of that color for you? What shape jumps out at you? What's the narrative that you're receiving from this card? And that will help you understand how to move forward. So I'm not going to give you the interpretation of this card only because it's unique for each person. And the purpose of this exercise is for you to stretch your muscle, not to hear what my interpretation is of this. Maybe I'll put it in the comments afterwards, but for the actual video, I don't want to sway people on what the message is they're receiving. So if you're not using a card, if you're using a rune or a crystal, so I'm just going to pull a crystal out. And it doesn't matter if you even know what the crystal is. But so here's a crystal I pulled out of my bowl. So what does the color evoke in me? Do I see a pattern? Do I see an image within the other colors that show up? Does the shape speak to me? All of those things. What about the weight of it and the temperature of it? All of those things bring in narrative. Once you have that narrative, you can move forward with what it's trying to tell you. It might be telling you that your next step is to pause and to relax and to go someplace where there's water so that you can be refreshed. It might be telling you to walk in the forest, to surround yourself with green things. The green color of the rock comes through. It might be telling you to ground yourself. It might be saying that your next step is to get more rest or to drink more water or to refresh your appearance, get a haircut, or just do some self-care. It might, these are different things that are coming in. I said I wasn't going to interpret it, but I just really can't help myself. But what is it saying to you? Like, what things are coming out for you? And that's how this works. And then you can take action. Very, very small step. That's really all it takes. One small step to get going. And then you can do this process again to get the next step. Often we try to take a huge leap and try to reach much further than we're comfortable with. And sometimes that's good. But often it just takes one small step to get that breakthrough, to get to the other side of the threshold. So that's what this exercise is all about. And try it out. Try it with the tools you're comfortable with, whatever that may be. There's no right or wrong. If you're using a book, open it, and what line jumps out at you or what word jumps out at you, and sit with that message for a while. So you can meditate on it throughout your day if you want, or you might get the message immediately and then have a sense of what you should be doing. So trust that the narrative you get is your narrative and it's correct for you. Okay, so we're wrapping up for today's Workout Wednesday. And I have to have a disclaimer here. So never allow any tools of any type, whether it be crystals or tarot or oracles or a psychic or any other person, to have the final say in your decision. You have to remember that you're responsible for your decisions. Ultimately, these are just tools. They are not cognizant. They do not have a brain of their own. They are only a conduit from your connection to spirit to your inner knowing. And they're here to provide you insight and guidance. But ultimately, you are responsible for any consequences of your actions. So don't do anything illegal or harmful. Okay? All right. Be well, and we'll see you at the next Workout Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right here. Actually, we're going to be on YouTube next, hopefully. And if you want to dive deeper, go out and check out www.divinekey.com, book a session, or see what my offers are. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.